Matt, welcome to another series in our sustainability podcast. Thank you very much for being here today. This lovely hot day we're having. I think I could do with a cold one next to us at the moment, but maybe afterwards.
Don't get me started on that one, Jason.
Okay, so we're going to have a chat about sustainability and what it means to our companies and also to the industry out there. It's great to have your views on the subject. We talk about sustainability a lot within the podcast. With regards to the environment, which is obviously very important as we strive for carbon net zero targets and greening of machining, but also the economy side of things as well, because we've got to keep going. We've got to obviously make money while being sustainable, and also society stuff and people. I've obviously, in your technology centre, fabulous place, lots of good things going on, and maybe you could discuss, how you feel some of your things you're doing here and sustainability, what it could mean for your customers.
Well, a lot of what we do in the technology centre all revolves around the customers anyway.
Yep.
Proving out products, projects, making them more efficient. Mm-hmm. If that means they're making them more efficient, then that could mean, reducing in cycle times, reducing in costs, reduction of waste.
Well, yeah, of course, because I guess if you're making things quicker and faster, there's going to be less wastage, less power required on the machine, so automatically reducing the carbon footprint.
Exactly.
Through energy reduction.
You can imagine if you're starting to reduce these cycle times, then the machine's not running as much, which means that there's a reduction in power, which means that the maintenance costs of the machines become minimised. If you're decreasing the tool spend on that project, then that means that the spend of carbide. If we're not delivering tools to site as much, it even goes down to the nitty-gritty of driving to and from these places logistically.
And that's so important because, as we know, we've got to reduce travel logistics, sourcing locally to avoid the travel around, to reduce that impact to the climate through travel. And this is when we start breaking down all the different areas within the manufacturing facilities. Because it doesn't just affect just the machine tools, it affects a lot of the area of travel, sourcing of materials, less material being required maybe, so it kind of covers quite a few areas, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It's massive, absolutely huge.
Yeah. I sort of talk about some of the strategy stuff as well that you're doing here as well, which is really exciting because I presume you're sort of teaching new strategies, and this is when I see sort of people coming into it, and we hear about skills gaps, and that really is another part of sustainability because if we haven't got the people coming up into engineering, it's not sustainable, and we can't, we've got to get that skills gap down, and that's by improving techniques, improving conditions around the machine, cleaner, better, faster.
It's a massive part that we're seeing, especially from speaking to our engineers out in the field. The skills gap is huge. I know the skills gap word is a buzzword.
Yeah.
But it really is impacting the future of the industry. So we've got lots of ideas and conversations about how the tech centre can start looking after the youth of today coming into engineering.
Absolutely. And making it available for all.
Everybody.
That's the diversity challenges we have as well.
I mean, a lot of people forget that engineering was the backbone of this country. Especially where we're based now in the Black Country, which was the heart of the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, of course.
So why not start bringing things back in-house where we're situated to bring these youth forward?
What a perfect place to bring people into to see what engineering's about. And that, that's something I get rather passionate about because I see, the old story of, we're got to work on the machines, big handles, greasy, dirty, and all that type of thing. Where you look at really what it's about now. And it isn't, it's far more cleaner. You're working on the latest technology on CAD/CAM systems. It really is exciting. And I think, doing stuff that you're doing, I guess, makes that exciting for people to come in and say, yeah, I want to do that.
This is where it steps into the realms of like the apprenticeships, where we can start bringing these new apprentices through into this industry, but it's not the traditional apprentices that they were 20 years ago when I started, where you'd start a company, you'd be seen as an improver, and they might place you somewhere within that business where your strengths are. Well, this is where we've actually teamed up with a company called Next Gen Makers, where what they do is they help businesses achieve like a kite mark accreditation.
Yep.
So when these apprentices start looking around to come into the industry, they know that if those companies have the kite mark, it means they are going to get the best apprenticeship that they can and the support
Fantastic.
from that company. But it's also trying to find the new talent, which are technically minded as well.
Absolutely.
As we're stepping into this new era of the digitalisation, the Industry 4 buzzword, we need to start taking people on who are geared up to take this on. Not just your traditional
not your traditional
school.
hands-on who can use a file. Remember them ones? You remember filing the squares flat? I got told to do it 4 times, so don't tell anybody. Oh, I'm on a podcast, I should have said that. But it is really about that, and it isn't sort of, as you say, as much of digitalisation, a lot more skills than that, and that ability to see through that areas as well. I think it's making it exciting, so young people would say, yeah, I want to do that, like I said before, but I'm going to make a career out of this. And therefore, they're going to be earning some very good money. And again, that's kind of the changing there. And as you can say, there's a lot of companies screaming out for talent and for people. So I think that's a really important part of the sustainability, Will.
I think I've just touched on the digital side of things. Now, I know everybody isn't geared up to step into that digital world right now. But the way it's looking is that if they start adopting these digital applications and solutions that we've got in here, we're geared up to support the future of that. When they start adopting these solutions in place, it means that people or non-skilled people within the business can actually start stepping into skilled people's shoes, because we're minimising the human intervention and the human error, which means that people can start moving into the business to start minimising that skills gap. Plus, working with companies such as Next Gen Makers can start filling those positions. So as you can see, people will start to move around the business to minimise that gap.
Apologies there, we just had a bit of a phone call going on just to show we're in real life conditions here and
real.
not under tops, not under. I just love it only when something like that happens. That just gives that a little bit of comedy factor on that with around this really important subject. So apologies for the phone going off in the background. But I think we're really answering now some of them questions that we did sort of say before. What does sustainability mean? And the more discussions I have with industry experts like yourself and suppliers, you start seeing some of the answers being driven forward by ourselves and within yourselves, and what you're doing with every product you're producing does have a sustainability factor. Well, that's been superb. Thank you very much, Matt. It's been a fantastic. I could carry on talking over this pretend pint we're having at the moment, but maybe we'll do that in a minute.
And some scratching.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Matt.
No problem.
Cheers. Thanks.